In a world where the flash of cameras meets the quiet hum of determination, few names glow with the steady warmth and brilliance of Blake Lively. Because beyond the glitter and the gowns, beyond the premieres and the paparazzi, she represents something rare in modern Hollywood, the kind of calm confidence that doesn't shout but shines. She's the friend who walks into a room and somehow makes everyone feel like they belong. And as her story unfolds, it intertwines with the journeys of others, who like her have learned that fame isn't just about lights and applause, but about balance, truth, and grace, and it all begins with her belief in integrity, that invisible compass guiding her through the maze of celebrity life where every word, every glance, and every headline can ripple through millions when Blake speaks about fairness and authenticity. People listen not because she's rehearsed, but because she's real. Her presence carries the warmth of someone who's walked through storms and come out still smiling. And as her team emphasizes the importance of integrity and honesty in Hollywood, it becomes a reminder that every star's journey is filled with lessons about resilience. And Heart Blake's rise began long before. The world knew her as Serena van der Woodsen, the effortless style icon from Gossip Girl. Her beginnings were rooted in family love and creative energy, growing up surrounded by the art of storytelling, acting, directing, and design. It's no wonder she found herself drawn to the camera. But unlike many, she wasn't chasing fame. She was chasing connection. The chance to move people through characters and moments that felt alive and true. And that's what makes her story feel so timeless. She's not just acting, she's inviting you into a conversation, a friendship, a feeling. And as she carved her path from television to film, she began to shape her own voice, one that blended elegance with honesty, glamour with groundedness and kindness, with quiet confidence, but Hollywood is never a still place. It shifts like the tide, bringing both joy and challenge. And as Blake navigated this world, she found strength in something simple, staying true to herself. It's the same strength that's echoed by other icons who've learned that the spotlight can be both gift and test. Taylor Swift with her fearless storytelling, Zendaya with her boundary-breaking poise, and Rihanna whose creative evolution shows how authenticity can be the ultimate rebellion. And as we journey deeper into this world of fame and feeling, we see that Blake's story isn't just about red carpets and fashion, though her style remains unmatched. Her story is about the invisible threads that tie humanity and humility. Together, she learned that influence is more than followers. It's the way you make people feel. And that message resonates in every project she chooses, every cause she supports, and every moment she uses her platform for good. Because for Blake, her work in film and fashion has always gone hand in hand with something bigger: the desire to empower. Whether it's advocating for children's education, clean water initiatives, or using her social voice to uplift women and families, she's never let celebrity drown out compassion. She's always chosen substance over spectacle. And that's where the beauty of her journey lies. It's not a straight road, it's a winding story of learning and leading, of balancing personal life and public perception, all while growing gracefully alongside a world that never stops watching. And as her team speaks about the need for transparency and fairness, it feels like a reflection of what Hollywood itself is learning. The new generation of stars doesn't just want to be admired, they want to be understood. They don't want to chase headlines. They want to inspire healing stories that echo from Los Angeles to Seoul, from London to Lagos, stories of purpose and transformation in a culture that sometimes thrives on conflict and illusion. Blake and so many others choose truth over noise. It's a quiet revolution of integrity, where strength is found in vulnerability, and success is measured not by fame, but by impact. She's joined in that spirit by stars like Selena Gomez, who speaks openly about mental health, by Zendaya, whose roles challenge stereotypes, and by Justin Baldoni, whose mission to redefine masculinity shows how empathy can reshape even the toughest conversations. Their stories all weave into one beautiful tapestry of modern celebrity, where courage, kindness, and creativity become the real currency of success. So as the spotlight follows Blake and the conversation around authenticity deepens, we see that this isn't about scandals or gossip, it's about evolution. The evolution of what it means to be human in a world that sees you everywhere, and still choosing to show up with heart. Because at its core, fame is a mirror, and Blake Lively's reflection is one that glows not from perfection, but from purpose. She stands as proof that you can be both glamorous and good, both powerful and kind, both public and personal. And as we follow her journey through the ever-changing landscape of celebrity culture, we realize that she's not just walking through Hollywood, she's quietly reshaping it one thoughtful moment at a time. And as the rhythm of Blake Lively's life continues, it becomes clear that every chapter in her story is a lesson in balance. Because when you stand in the glow of 1,000 lights, it's easy to forget your own reflection. Yet Blake somehow manages to hold on to her truth. And that truth is what keeps her grounded when the world wants to pull her in 100 different directions. She's learned that fame is not just a platform. It's a responsibility, a space where your choices, your words, and your energy ripple into lives you may never meet. Her approach to fame feels refreshingly human. She doesn't treat it like a race. She treats it like a relationship, nurturing it with care, laughter, humility, and respect. She knows that behind every headline, there's a heart behind every critic. There's a story behind every fan. There's a connection waiting to be made. It's this sense of empathy that defines her. And as she navigates through the ever-buzzing machine of Hollywood, she's surrounded by voices who echo her same pursuit of authenticity. People like Zendaya, whose quiet brilliance reminds young dreamers that they don't have to shout to be heard. Or Taylor Swift, whose fearless pen transforms personal truth into shared emotion, or Rihanna, whose evolution from musician to mogul has become a blueprint for creative freedom. Blake's own journey mirrors these arcs not in competition, but in harmony, because together they represent a shift in celebrity, culture, a collective reminder that humanity can coexist with fame, that being seen doesn't have to mean being lost. When her team speaks about fairness and transparency, it's more than a professional stance. It's a reflection of how Blake lives. Her life, she's always believed that honesty is the strongest foundation, whether it's on a movie set, in a business deal, or in friendship. And perhaps that's why she's admired not just for her performances, but for her presence. She doesn't play the game. She changes it by showing that kindness isn't weakness, it's power. That being composed in chaos doesn't mean you're unaffected. It means you're aware in this new era of celebrity where social media connects fans directly. To stars, authenticity is everything, and Blake embodies that. She's the kind of person who can make couture feel cozy and interviews feel intimate. Her sense of humor lightens the air, her sense of style redefines modern elegance, and her sense of purpose inspires millions because she uses her platform to spark conversations that matter, whether she's highlighting sustainability in fashion or championing women's rights. She does it not as a statement, but as a lifestyle. And in doing so, she's joined by other visionaries who are redefining what influence means. Take Beyoncé, whose artistry fuses empowerment with excellence, or Selena Gomez, whose openness about health and healing gives strength to those struggling in silence. Or even Baldoni, whose storytelling dives into vulnerability as a superpower. Each of them reflects a new kind of fame, one rooted in depth instead of distance. And this wave of truth-tellers is reshaping Hollywood from within, creating a culture where collaboration replaces competition, where purpose drives performance, and where stories are told not to impress, but to inspire. As Blake's career expands beyond acting into directing, producing, and entrepreneurship, she's proving that evolution doesn't mean changing who you are. It means growing into more of yourself, and her fashion influence mirrors that growth, bold but never loud, timeless but never predictable. Her style choices tell the same story as her voice, strength wrapped in grace, confidence dressed in humility, and her fans feel that connection deeply. They see in her the friend they'd want by their side, the sister who listens without judgment, the dreamer who reminds them that success is sweeter when shared. As she continues to evolve, so does her message. Because for Blake and so many of her peers, fame isn't about perfection, it's about perseverance. It's about how you rise after you stumble, how you use your spotlight to illuminate others, and how you stay true when the world tries to define you. It's about creating art that heals, laughter that lingers, and kindness that echoes. And when Blake talks about fairness and accountability in Hollywood, it isn't about pointing fingers. It's about raising standards. She believes that the industry can only grow if everyone feels seen and heard, that creativity thrives when respect is mutual, and that progress only lasts when it's rooted in truth. Her words resonate not just with fans, but with fellow artists who have walked similar paths, like Zendaya, who reminds us that representation matters, or Taylor Swift, who shows how control of one's narrative can be liberating, or Rihanna, whose empire was built not on perfection, but on passion. And in this grand mosaic of celebrity evolution, Blake's piece shines like a thread of gold, subtle yet unbreakable, tying together a generation of stars who are choosing integrity over illusion, substance over spectacle, purpose over popularity. And as this movement grows, it becomes more than a trend. It becomes a transformation, one that invites the world to see fame not as a distance but as a dialogue, a living conversation about art, empathy, and the courage to be real. And at the heart of that conversation stands Blake Lively, radiant, resilient, and utterly herself. And as the journey deepens, we see that Blake Lively's grace is not the absence of challenge, but the mastery of composure in the face of it. Because for every smile seen on a red carpet, there are countless moments of unseen effort, reflection, and resilience. She understands that the most meaningful victories are often quiet, the moments when no one is watching but you choose to keep going. Anyway, her evolution in Hollywood feels almost poetic, like chapters in a novel, each one revealing a different shade of her truth. She began as the bright young face of Gossip Girl and grew into a symbol of modern elegance, a woman whose charm never overshadowed her intelligence, whose humor never hid her sincerity, and whose confidence never demanded validation. In many ways, she has become the embodiment of balance, someone who can wear a gown one night and sneakers the next, who can talk about family, faith, and feminism in the same breath and make it all feel connected. Because for Blake, it is all connected. Her career, her causes, her creativity, and her compassion. They're all threads in one larger fabric of purpose. When she and her team speak about fairness and honesty, it isn't just a slogan, it's a reflection of how she treats people, how she collaborates, how she shows up, not just for the spotlight moments, but for the small, quiet ones too. And that's what makes her journey resonate with millions, because we live in a time where fame can sometimes feel performative, yet Blake reminds us that the most powerful performances come from authenticity. Her peers share that same truth. Zendaya, whose artistry blurs the lines between fashion and storytelling. Taylor Swift, who turns her personal chapters into universal anthems. Rihanna, who leads with boldness and compassion. And Justin Baldoni, whose vision for storytelling breaks stereotypes by showing strength and emotion together. They represent the evolution of celebrity, from spectacle to sincerity, from idols to individuals, who use their influence to elevate others. Blake's story becomes a mirror for the industry, reflecting a shift toward deeper connection and creative freedom, as audiences crave not just beauty, but meaning. Not just fame, but heart, and she delivers, both through every role, every appearance, every thoughtful word. Her impact stretches beyond acting into entrepreneurship, where she builds brands rooted in sustainability and empowerment. And her ventures mirror her values, blending style with purpose, fashion with responsibility, and glamour with groundedness. She's the rare celebrity who makes the extraordinary feel accessible, whose confidence encourages others to embrace their own individuality, and whose family life with Ryan Reynolds shows that love and laughter can coexist with ambition without losing their spark together. They've become an emblem of partnership that's playful but powerful, reminding the world that behind every headline are real people who dream, love, stumble, and rise again. Their humility makes their success feel shared, like they're inviting the world to celebrate with them, not just watch from afar, and that energy radiates through Blake's projects. She gravitates towards stories that empower, that explore resilience and grace under pressure. And she chooses roles that echo her personal beliefs in growth and authenticity. Her work behind the camera reflects the same. She seeks out narratives that inspire reflection, compassion, and change, and in doing so, she becomes not just a storyteller, but a builder of bridges between entertainment and empathy. She shows that fame can be more than attention. It can be intention. And as her team continues to emphasize the importance of integrity in an industry often defined by illusion, it sparks a conversation larger than any headline. How can Hollywood evolve into a space of fairness, creativity, and collaboration, where stories are told responsibly and success is shared collectively? This dialogue is not just theoretical. It's lived every day by stars like Selena Gomez, who opens up about mental health to break stigma, by Beyoncé, who uses her art to empower communities, and by Angelina Jolie, whose activism reminds us that fame without compassion is hollow. They all stand alongside Blake in a movement that's rewriting what it means to be influential. This isn't the era of unreachable icons, it's the era of relatable heroes, and Blake's journey embodies that perfectly. She's proof that you can be radiant without being removed, inspiring without being untouchable, powerful without being prideful. Her story isn't about being flawless, it's about being fearless enough to stay genuine, even when the world expects a performance. And that's why audiences connect with her, not just as a star, but as a person. She reminds us that fame is fleeting, but authenticity endures. That kindness creates legacy, and that strength often speaks in whispers, not shouts. And as Hollywood continues to evolve, she stands as one of its brightest constants, guiding it toward a more human horizon, where the future of fame looks less like competition and more like community. And as we move deeper into the heart of this story, the layers of Blake Lively's journey reveal a message that feels larger than Hollywood itself. Because her path is not just a story of success, it's a study in how integrity can survive in an industry built on perception. She has shown that beauty can exist with depth, that fame can walk hand in hand with family, and that even in a world obsessed with narratives, you can write your own truth. Her presence on and off the screen feels like a reminder that the brightest stars don't always burn. The loudest, they glow with consistency. Calm and quiet courage. Her team's focus on fairness and authenticity becomes a reflection of how she's always conducted her career with purpose and respect. She treats the business not as a battlefield, but as a shared stage where collaboration matters more than competition. And that approach resonates with her fans, who see in her not just an actress, but a leader, someone who moves gracefully through the noise and still finds ways to amplify others. When she walks into a room, she brings a sense of ease, she listens, she learns, and she leads, and that humility has made her one of the most respected figures in entertainment. She's part of a generation of stars who are redefining what it means to use influence well, from Zendaya, who champions representation and artistry, to Rihanna, who has built a legacy of inclusivity, to Taylor Swift, who continues to own her narrative and empower creators worldwide. And as their stories intertwine, we begin to see a pattern, a quiet movement where women in entertainment are no longer waiting for permission to shape the culture. They are shaping it themselves with creativity, intellect, and grace, and Blake stands at the center of that evolution. Her projects are thoughtful, her fashion choices intentional, her words measured but meaningful. She doesn't chase trends. She creates moments, and those moments ripple far beyond the red carpet, because they carry values within them. When she wears sustainable designers or supports female-led brands, she's making a statement not of vanity but of vision. She's saying that fashion can be both beautiful and responsible, that storytelling can be both glamorous and grounded, and that influence can be both powerful and positive. This philosophy extends into her philanthropic work too. She has lent her platform to causes that focus on children's welfare, women's empowerment, and global humanitarian aid. And she does it not for praise, but from passion and empathy, which have been at the core of her personality since the beginning. That's what makes her journey timeless. She evolves, but never loses her essence. And that balance is what makes her story resonate with audiences from all over the world. Because it isn't about perfection. It's about perspective, about how even in a world built on appearances, substance can still shine through. And this idea reflects in the stories of so many global stars who share her approach, like Beyoncé, whose art and activism inspire generations, or Bats, whose messages of self-love and unity bridge cultures, or Selena Gomez, who uses her platform to advocate for mental health awareness. They all share one thing in common: the courage to be real. And that's the thread that ties modern celebrity culture together. This new wave of authenticity, transparency, and emotional intelligence that redefines success, not as fame, but as impact. Blake's journey mirrors that perfectly. Because she doesn't just appear in the spotlight, she contributes to it. She doesn't just participate in the narrative, she elevates it. Her influence is quiet yet unmissable, rooted in substance, not spectacle. And it's this quiet strength that makes her stand out in a world where trends change by the hour. Because when she speaks, people listen, and when she acts, people feel the intention behind it. It's what sets her apart, what makes her legacy something more than film credits or fashion spreads. It's a feeling and energy, a reflection of integrity that inspires others to do the same. Her relationship with Ryan Reynolds adds another layer to this story of partnership and playfulness. Their chemistry isn't just for cameras. It's a testament to mutual respect, laughter, and support. They've built a life that feels both magical and meaningful, one where success is shared and joy is celebrated together. And their dynamic reminds fans that love doesn't have to be loud to be lasting. It just has to be kind. Their story becomes another piece in this global puzzle of purpose-filled celebrity lives that remind us that fame can be a force for good if used with awareness. And as Blake continues to grow into new creative roles, she's shaping the future of storytelling itself, building spaces where art, honesty, and empathy intersect. Showing that leadership isn't about commanding attention, but about creating opportunities for others to shine too. And as we reflect on her journey, it becomes clear that her success is not accidental, it's intentional. A product of passion, discipline, and heart. She's not chasing moments, she's building meaning, and that's why her story stands as one of the most inspiring in Hollywood today, not because it's flawless, but because it's real. And as the final light of this long and beautiful story comes into view, we realize that Blake Lively's journey is not just one of fame, but of evolution, of a woman who grew with grace under the weight of expectation, who learned that truth shines brighter than any spotlight, and who has used every step of her career to uplift others. She embodies a kind of artistry that goes beyond acting, because her life itself feels like a work of art, carefully crafted yet effortlessly human. She has faced the noise of fame not with defense but with direction, reminding everyone that silence can speak louder than speculation, that calm can be stronger than chaos. Her approach to Hollywood is like her fashion, timeless, deliberate, and rooted in identity. And as her team continues to talk about integrity and honesty, it's not about damage control, it's about devotion to something bigger. The idea that the entertainment world can evolve into a space of fairness, creativity, and shared respect. Fans see that they see how she carries herself, how she interacts, how she uses her influence to bring warmth to an often cold world, and they respond not with obsession, but with admiration. She's more than a celebrity. She's a symbol of balance. Between ambition and authenticity, between glamour and groundedness, between fame and family. And that balance has inspired countless others who walk in her footsteps. People like Zendaya, who continues to shatter stereotypes while staying true to herself, or Taylor Swift, who transformed vulnerability into victory through her words and melodies, or Rihanna, whose empire is built on inclusivity and innovation. All of them remind us that power isn't in perfection, it's in perseverance, and Blake's story is a testament to that truth. Her film roles continue to evolve. Her business ventures thrive, and her voice remains steady in a world that often rewards volume over value. She reminds her audience that being quiet, confident, and kind can still change the narrative. Her influence isn't limited to screens or runways. It spills into everyday life, inspiring people to lead with empathy, to make decisions with integrity, to create. Without fear, she has become the kind of role model who shows that success doesn't require sacrifice of soul, that you can be ambitious without being ruthless and famous without being fake. Her love story with Ryan Reynolds amplifies that message, proving that humor, respect, and shared dreams can anchor even the most public of lives. Their playful dynamic and genuine connection have become a cultural touchstone, reminding the world that love built on laughter lasts. And together they continue to use their platforms to promote kindness, philanthropy, and creative expression. And that example ripples outward through an industry that often thrives on competition. They stand for collaboration, compassion, and family values, a modern blueprint for success rooted in humanity. This approach has inspired others to see fame differently, to recognize that influence carries responsibility, that being seen means having the chance to uplift, that art and activism can coexist peacefully. Stars like Selena Gomez, Angelina Jolie, and Beyoncé share that same light, each using fame as a vessel for good. Their actions proving that celebrity can evolve from a mirror into a movement. And in that movement, Blake's presence glows steadily, not demanding attention, but deserving it. Her legacy is already forming, not just in films, but in hearts. She's inspired designers to think sustainably, fans to act compassionately, and young dreamers to believe that authenticity can still win in a curated world. Her journey reminds us that even amid uncertainty, we can choose to stand tall, to speak gently, and to shine honestly. Because that's what lasting greatness is built on, not on noise, but on nuance. Not on control, but on character. And as this story of fame and humanity continues to unfold across the lives of artists all over the world, it becomes clear that Blake Lively's light is not fleeting. It's foundational. It's the kind of light that guides others through the haze of fame towards something more real, something more meaningful. Her story stands as proof that you don't need to chase the world to change it. Sometimes you just need to be yourself so fully that others remember how to do the same. And in that quiet truth, in that beautiful intersection between strength and softness, Blake Lively's legacy continues not as an echo, but as a melody. A lasting song of grace, authenticity, and love in a world that needs it more than ever. If you love motivational storytelling, celebrity journeys, and cinematic narratives that feel like a friend talking to your heart. This video is for you. Comment below your favorite celebrity story and tell us who inspires you most. Like, subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss more inspiring documentaries.